Hello, Andres.
Hello.
Nice to see you. Nice to meet you. I'm looking forward. And do you want to? What do you prefer to play? You are playing Bach Solo Sonata No.1.
Yes.
And what do you prefer to play? The movements? Should I interrupt you, or do you want to play the whole piece, or what do you like?
I want to start with Adagio and then
Okay.
we will see.
Okay, very good. So go ahead. Okay, very good. Nice. Very good playing. And it's very much in tune. It's rhythmical. You have a good sound. What I'm missing, you basically you don't use vibrato, right? Or I have the impression you try not to vibrate. Sometimes it comes through a little bit, but basically the purpose is not to vibrate. Is that right?
A little bit.
Okay, okay. So I like that because I don't like the kind of like black and white decision in music. Very often it doesn't really apply to the music, because music is never black and white. There's always, it's something in between. So I like that you don't reject it completely. So at the same time, sometimes it's a little bit a lack for me in expressiveness, because of course with the vibrato we can add a certain color, we make it the note, we can change the color of the note a little bit, right? Yes. So if you vibrate very little, somehow you have to find a way to shape the notes a little more with the right hand. Otherwise, it sounds a little, it can sound a little stiff, you know, because you take away one kind of something that adds color to it, and you have, but if you do that, you know, they had different bows, the strings were different, the strings itself themselves were probably a little more colorful, less powerful, but more flexible, more. So you have to try to add something if you take away something, you know. So and sometimes it's a matter also of like direction in the phrases, that I could imagine that it sounds at the same time. You have this. I mean, it's the headline, or it's named adagio, the movement. If you look at the music, you look those like the page looks black, right? So you have incredibly small notes, a lot of small notes, right? If you look, it looks very complicated, and adagio sounds very simple. So basically, you should try to fit in the small notes, so they there's a bigger line so they connect the bigger notes. So have the adagio feeling with and the small notes are kind of an improvisation on the big structure, right? So, and in order to have this kind of improvisation that works, that has to connect, you know. And right now it's a little static, and if it's static, there's no direction. If you have a direction, then the direction connects the notes. And right now it's what I like, that you are very you are careful, you play what's written, and that's very important. But there's a certain danger that it gets a little. If I say it in a mean word, it gets a little pedantic. You know, you play exactly, but then it loses a little bit the sense of it, or it's not organic anymore. You know what I want to say? So yes. What would be really nice if you play as exact as you play right now, but it should sound like you are inventing it right now, you know. So that would be the ideal, and I know it's super hard, but you know, you have a very good foundation to do this, because basically the first thing you have to have is you have to have everything has to be there. So so can you try one more time and try to have more direction and more character of improvisation? You know, you are making up the thing right now. Try. For example, here, no matter you break it very slowly, that's fine. So there I'm missing direction. Try one more time. So you have this kind of as a statement, and then so it's not. Can you play from here? Yes, yes. And the last two notes are very important, because if they get low, then there's an interruption. Not too fast, the last two small notes. Good. Good. And okay, Anders, be careful that it doesn't sound like this. So it's like breathing out. From here. Huh? No. Yes, good. Good. Oh, as well here. Not. Yes. Yes. Can you try once that the chord is not so much button. Connected now. Yes. Okay. From here. Good. Okay. Just as a matter of voicing, so which you do in general, you do very well. But here, the voicing, or not, huh? Or not. Not. Huh?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Can you do one more time from the beginning? Okay. You know, somehow it doesn't sound really. You can do it as slowly as you want, but I have the feeling it doesn't start. It should start with the lowest note. It sounds a little like. So it should start with the bass. Not. I hear something like this. Try. Yes. Yeah. Sorry. Good. Good. Okay. No problem. Very good. Very nice. For me personally, I would like if in the beginning it sounds fuller, so more. It sounds a little thin to me, the first chord. So it should be like like an organ playing all the notes at the same time, like So in the end you decide, okay, but it's too much. It's too much. It's not full. Can you try to play the chord once really full? Yes. Yes. As like the beginning, I prefer. The other is a little hesitant or a little. It's not really. I prefer that. So you decide later. Okay. Let's go on from. Okay, can you... It would be nice if the upper note is always a little longer, so... Try. Good. Nice. Okay, nice. Be careful that this is not, that this gets a little hectic. Gets a little lost, so... Good. 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 Okay. Andres. It's Andres, right? Andres.
Andres is Latvian.
Yes, yes. Okay. So please correct me. It's very nice. So what in general I could imagine, and what I would like very much, when the chords, if it's more like, imagine to play this in a church, that's a little, that it sound, the chords could sound, you have very good bow technique, so if it sounds a little fuller, so it's not, it sounds, sometimes it sounds a little thin to me. Okay, so if you break them a little more, and it sounds a little more like, you know, like you are playing them at the same time. Huh? Try it like this. Yes? Can you just, as an experiment, try to play the 3 notes at the same time? Yes? Great, okay. Now, same idea. Yes, okay. So that would be nice. Because if you do that, the melody is like, right? So if you break them, it gets kind of, I get distracted from the melody. So this is the chord is kind of the harmonic foundation for the melody that you are playing. So for that reason, I would personally prefer it if you break it a little faster. And okay. Good. Full. Good. Good. Okay, good, 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 good. Very good. Not too fast. No. So the small notes, they should sound improvised, but never hectic. So so think them as a like a melodic improvisation, not like an embellishment, but like a melody. Good, good. Like there, very often when you have small notes. It sounds a little hectic to me. They're also not too hectic. Good. Good. Nice. Yes. Good. Okay, just an idea. Nice, nice. I liked very much. Just an idea. Have more direction so that it's not so static. Good. Huh? This is. I would hold it longer. Not. Good. Direction. Good. Not too high. Okay, okay, here as well. You know, to play like improvisation doesn't mean that the small notes get faster than because they get lost very easily. Rather the opposite. So they get lost otherwise. So not too fast. It gets hectic. Yeah. Good. Good. okay, okay. Make sure, nice. Make sure that you don't lose too much, because then you have a huge accent there. So of course the first beat is more, but it continues, okay? Yeah. Good. Ah, no. Yes. Nice, very good. So more direction, small notes, not too fast, and improvisation like. Nice, good job. Okay, let's go on. Very good. Great. Nice. Very good job. In general, you have very good bow technique. It's very natural, and in this piece, it's that helps really with all the chords, and so good job. I think sometimes I would imagine it could be a little freer. For example. So this you played basically from there on. You played freer, but already this kind of Orgelpunkt. You know, you have this bass and then variation above. It's very different from the other from the part before. So you can. I think that part could be a little bit freer, more like an improvisation. Sometimes I'm not completely. I would voice it slightly differently, but in general, I have the feeling that what you do is logical and consistent. So if I propose something, then it's just a proposition, but it's a matter what you prefer. Sometimes one has to decide between the voicing and the chords, how the chords go naturally, and sometimes it's a compromise. Also, the bowing, how you kind of if you hook it or not. So basically, that's a matter of taste. Sometimes, in general, for me, the theme, I could imagine that it's a little less short. Because sometimes when you have chords, you cannot play it as short. So in order to have like a consistent character of the theme, I would propose to play it a tiny bit longer. So. Try. Huh? Okay. But at the same time, what I like with the short bowing is the ring. You know, that the string, that it rings. So try to keep that. Not. You hear how the string rings? So, good. Okay, try a little. Yes, try that stroke, but a little more separate. So not. Good. 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 Okay, nice, very good job. I could imagine that you phrase it a little bit more. You know, you have those long passages with the chords, and then if you have something like this, it's well, you can. So that it's a little more, you know, you have this kind of very severe, kind of merciless fugue theme, and then you have this kind of improvisation thing in between. Can you try from your... And that it sounds a little freer. Okay, good, good. You know, I could imagine if I'm very mean, I would say it sounds a tiny bit like, you know, détaché exercise. So try to play it a little more playful. You know, it has a very good sound quality, but that is. That the notes are not exactly even, all the notes. Try it from here. Can you try once, just to try out, to play it a little lower on the bow, so not here, which is perfectly fine, but in this case I think you have more. So they are not all exactly the same length, you know, so that makes it a little more variety. Good. I like that. I like it. Good. Good. Okay, very nice, very nice. I like that a lot, you know. So you make your choice in the end. You can also decide, because in something like this, sometimes Bach didn't write slurs. For example, you can. It's up to you. Okay, so that's something you can. It's just an idea what you could do, huh? It's up to you. Let's go on. Okay, you know, yes, since, you know, it's on a very high level, so this is not in tune, you heard it yourself, okay? So be careful with the intonation there. So can you play one more time from here? You know, for example, here you have this, right?
Yeah.
So if you play before, and there you have, then this is considerably longer, right? Because it's under the bow, right? You get what I'm saying? You play, yes. Look.
Yes.
In one case it's and then huh? So that is, it's not right, because
Yes.
you have the note above. You cannot play it so short. So this is one of the reasons why I would prefer that it's not, because sometimes you cannot do it this way. You understand what I mean?
Yes,
so
yes,
then
of course, yeah.
I would try to find something that is kind of so it's just an argument, you know. You can argue about this for like for hours. It's just one of the reasons why I would prefer if it's a little longer, because then you can make it more similar.
Yes.
Okay. Try like this, no matter where. Good. I like that. Good. 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 Yes. Good. Okay, okay, you can add a trill there. At that time, they did that stuff all the time. So, yes, something like this.
Oh, yes.
Good. Okay, okay. Andres, if you play longer, don't forget still to separate it. So, not. One more reason is if it's a little longer, if you have the chords, that's kind of a little percussive if you have chords, right? So in order to bring out the melody, it helps if that's not too short. If it's then because in the end you want to have always hear the you want to have something that sticks out, and if the melody is a tiny little bit longer, the ear can find it easier. If you have the kind of it's as short as the chords, you know. So one more kind of tiny argument for it. So maybe from there. Good. Good. Okay, I have a better. Okay, better fingering is second position. So second position, third finger, or a third position. Yes. Yes, it sounds better. Good. Okay, nice. You know, I know it's a hard passage, but play a little more articulated. Not. That's too romantic. So it's like if you would leave out the chords, it would be or not, right? And because we have to play those chords, we tend to. That's too romantic. So a little separation after each. Good. But okay. It's very easy at the fork, but more difficult at the tip. Okay. So. Huh? So tip. Good. Okay. Good. Okay, also here, not, I know it's awkward, but so if you would, can you play it once without the chords? You would not play, right, in Bach.
Yes.
So no, sorry, I hear this. Yes, better. Good. Okay, okay, sorry. Okay, this is one of the small places where I think the voicing should be different. So it's because that's interesting. So not, huh? So I would. I would propose. No, no, no. Start them from above. Yes. 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 Mhm. Okay, okay, yes, nice. I could imagine that you play a little more here. So you have a kind of, it's more, it's not, it's a little more variety. Okay, okay, nice. You can also consider something, or doesn't have to be so big, the different, but a little more interesting, not 2 times the same thing. Yes. Okay, okay. You know, so basically that's basically now it's coming again, the same stuff. If you want, we can continue on the movement, or we do the other 2 movements. It's up to you. What do you prefer?
I would like to Sicilian, yes.
Okay, let's do that, huh? So let's do that. Take your time to tune. Take it. Okay. Nice. You know, it's interesting because this movement is the only one. So often the movements are dance movements, but in this sonata, this is the only dance movement, and so I think it has a more the character is somehow it's more subjective, or it's more personal than the other movements. So it would be, and it has a very fragile quality to it, and so I think you can bring that out if the rhythm is not so exact. So it's kind of difficult nowadays to imagine somebody dancing to that music. So it must be like a very subtle dance. It's very slow, right? So and somehow it has some like a longing quality to it. So if it doesn't have that, it gets a little boring, this movement. So can you have this kind of pulsation? So instead of I like that movement very much because it's so, it's very fragile. Can you try? And so the rhythm should pulsate more. So not so it's not exactly the rhythm. It's a little overdotted. Can you try it? It's not Try. Good, nice. Okay, nice. And now you have this kind of, you have the bass. So so that line should really come out. So that should come out. So can you bring out the bass more from here? Yes. Also there. Sorry, I'm playing out of tune. Yes. Good. Now bass. Bass. Yes. Okay. Very good. So you have, on one side you have this fragile rhythm, and then you have to bring out really the bass line here. And always, the theme always starts like this. And because of this, I would personally prefer and not because then it's so I would prefer that. bass, 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 yes, also there, yes, no, look, also there, because it's again the theme starts again. Good. Yes. Good. Can you play, you know, it would be nicer fingering in the third position. Third position. Yes, yes. That's it.
And here at H.
Where? 8?
H natural is second finger.
I don't know what you mean.
Oh, B natural.
I play second finger. Yes, yes. Yes. Good. Good. Okay. So, for example, I would always, in this movement, bring out the bass a little more. It gets lost otherwise. Yes. Good. Also nicer fingering. Second position. Second position. No. Also, can you phrase that a little more? And always a little overdotted. Yeah, not a little not too orderly in this case. Yes. Good. Yes, and try not that it's not too separated. I know it's difficult. Yes, separate. Yeah, that's nice. That's very good. Yes. in the end, it was a little intonation can be better, but that, I mean, you heard that yourself. So that's the idea of it. You know, I don't know. I think that the time is up, but if you want, you can play the last movement, and I can say 2 or 3 words, and they can cut it wherever they want. Huh? You want to play?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, very good. Be careful, because all the entire piece is in chords. So if it's not really completely in tune, one can hear it, because it's like chords, right? So be careful with the intonation. Then I like the stroke is fine that you're doing, but sometimes you are a little bit, you are kind of killing the sound a little bit, because the bow is too long on the string. So sometimes I would wish that it's a tiny bit more of the string, so the string can ring in between the notes, and then you have more the sound impression of a church. You know, the sound can ring more. If you get a little more off, sometimes it's a little like this, and you could have more that kind of sound. Yeah, so I would prefer that. It also there are those slurs in between that make it more interesting, you know, that come right after the beat, for example, or so sometimes I'm missing them a little bit. If the general length is a little shorter, then you have more like contrast between the slurs and the separated notes, and that makes the movement even more interesting, you know, because there are always it's like little emphasizes against the beat. Okay, so it makes this it sounds almost faster if you play like this. Can you try and you can vary. It doesn't have to be exactly the same length all the time, you know. Okay. Okay, but try to be loose, not to... A little more with the lower arm, okay? Not so much... Good! Good! Okay, okay, that's out, Andres, this is out of tune. Better, yes. Okay, this is out of tune. Be careful, because it's out of tune. Yes. Good. Better. Okay, okay. For example, this is interesting. I would prefer if you can play it like a tiny bit slower, but so you have this. Right now it sounds, and we don't get all the interesting stuff, you know, because. So, bring out the articulation. Good. Yes. Also there. Also there. So it's interesting because it's always after the beat. Yes, good, good. Also there, you can bring, yes, you can bring on, bring that out. Yes. Good. Okay, okay. Basically, that's the idea, you know? If you bring out the detail, then it sounds actually much faster. You can play a little slower if you bring out interesting things, because it's something that kind of kicks the listener out of the you know, trail. You know, if it's very fast and you don't make those little don't bring the little details, it sounds a little like it sounds a little hectic, but not nobody knows why, because we cannot hear the details. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Very good job. All the best.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.